married to my wife, Jenny. I got 2 kids, my son, Ethan, and my daughter, Kelsey, her husband, and they're our first grandkid. They're extraordinary people. They're extraordinary workers. Yeah, it's as good as you could imagine. So Tim and I and a couple other buddies play golf after work a couple times a week, and have done so for years. And I was just really lucky that day. Right before this happened, my wife and I had spent a couple weeks in Ireland, and we toured the whole country. We came back home first day after work. I don't know whether I called Tim or he called me, but he said, let's go play golf after work.
We were joking with him a little bit about jet lag and things like that. And then we got down to the fourth hole, and we all hit our tee shots. Rob and I were basically right beside each other. Our second shots were, and Tim was a little ways away, and he hit his second shot. And I said, Rob, I said, I didn't see where that went. And he said, I didn't either. And then he immediately collapsed.
I was probably 50 yards from them. I didn't see it. I wasn't looking at Rob. It was Brian that called over to me and they said, hey, Rob collapsed. And of course I ran over there right away.
He called 911. Rob, when he had collapsed, had pulled his golf bag down on top of him. And so his clubs were going out around. So I took everything off of him. And at that time he was breathing. It was labored, but he was breathing still. Right after Tim got off the phone with the 911, he took one big breath and then he stopped. And so we both, one of us took the right arm, one of us took the left arm, and both felt for a pulse. And then we looked at each other and both shook our head no. And then he said, do you know CPR? And I was like, took a class a long time ago. And he said, well, I was a medic. And he just dove right in.
I don't know, something immediately just snapped in me, and I just went to work. I came back. I'm thankful Brian was there. For someone that's never been trained like that, he was calm. I had him call the pro shop here to get the defib. They have an AED here. And Aaron McDowell, who's the pro here, came barreling across the fairway while I was giving Rob chest compressions. Aaron got there, got the defib on the ground. We got the defib on him. It actually shocked him twice. Aaron and I continued to work on him until the paramedics got there. And of course they took over immediately and did a great job.
I'm not here if not for preparation. And it wasn't my preparation, but it was all the people that took care of me. So whether it was Tim and Brian on the golf course, whether it was Aaron that drove the defibrillator out to the golf course, whether it was the EMTs that drove the ambulance straight through the golf course to get to me, or the team at UK that took care of me. Preparation led to my being here right now. American Heart Association, that's part of the mission, to raise that level of awareness, to get people to be prepared, even though you may have never thought of it.
Your life can change on a dime. And if you're trained and you have some confidence in trying to help somebody, then and with a small investment of a couple hours of training like that, I think it's worth it.
I can't even describe to people, when you've been through that, you get a level of perspective, not just on your life, but life in general. Busyness of life does not matter at all. There are way too many things that are more important to that. So just be appreciative.